I'm Rick Stevens. I grew up here. My parents built this ice arena. They started acquiring property in 1959, and we worked forward through the years to open in December 14th, 1962. It was a great opening day. I was actually here, and my parents were expecting maybe 75 to 100 people, and 500 people showed up. Everyone was running every which way. They weren't prepared for it. It was fun. We had a big bingo hall upstairs. And of course, the mom would come and bring the kids and leave them in our skating session from 7:30 to midnight. And it actually created quite huge public sessions on Friday and Saturday night of 500 or 600 people. Of course, the kids would be here because they were having such a good time.
My name is Mark Bingy. I started working here. I was 17, almost 18 years old. Loyalty, I think, is what kept me here. And I loved the people that I worked with. They were all good people. We all kind of grew together as like a family. So I just decided to keep my loyalty to them.
My name's Linda Soul.
I'm Linda Landon.
I was Linda Adams.
I was connected through my dad, well, and my coach. My coach and my dad basically built the rink. And then my coach was Jimmy Stevens, and he was kind of behind the scenes running the business.
Got a few guys who've been skating here since the late 60s and early 70s. We have a 50 and over faction, which guys are, in their 60s, 70s, 80s, still skating.
I have been playing hockey at Highland Ice Arena for 18 years. We've had 4 sets of fathers and sons play with the group at one point or another.
I took my first steps on skates on this ice. It has a lot of history for a lot of people.
I think I stepped foot on ice here for the first time. I was either 5 or 6 years old.
Highland Ice Arena is a one-of-a-kind place. Though it was kind of a rough and possibly a little dangerous to play, this was our place, and we loved it, and we just embraced it, embraced what was here for us.
What makes Highland special is the community. Our generation really embraced being at Highland. At one point, we created this list called Only at Highland. They're laughing. It was basically a list of things that you would only find here. So like, only at Highland would you find paint falling from the ceiling.
Rats in the coach's room.
I met my husband here in the locker room, which is obviously very romantic.
The power outages. We were here and the exit lights were on and we were doing off-ice warm-up in the dark, just waiting for the lights to turn back on.
Or flies on the rink.
They fly and they get cold and then they kind of drop to the ice and then they kind of get stunned, and so sometimes I'd go and I'd pick them up and bring them out to the bench and let them get warm.
The Zamboni seems to be kind of a highlight. Yeah, I've had people take my picture. I had one person ask for my autograph. At first it's fun. Eventually it gets to be about as boring as driving a lawnmower.
This rink was built a long time ago, so it's 15 feet shorter than an NHL rink. So the kids were training on rinks that were smaller than rinks they'd compete on. And we made the most of it. So, for example, the candy machines we would use as mirrors. The benches we would use for plyometrics. I mean, we made the most of what we had, and it worked.
They're part of the community. They're what makes the rink tick. They're the heartbeat of the arena, and make them feel that way. Even if it's the smallest child, they need to feel that they're important coming here.
But for the community, they've done amazing work over the years with charities and fundraisers, and always thinking about the bigger picture.
When I came to this league and I was allowed to play, I was just, I was invited in. Everybody was invited in as long as you were respectful.
We have players who are amazing hockey players. Their skill levels are phenomenal, but if you can barely move along the ice, they're there to help. So somebody who normally doesn't come from a hockey background, especially from another culture, another country, and you're not only welcome, but we want you to like thrive in this group.
I was a figure skater. I skated from 58 to 72. It got kind of busy to where my dad couldn't do the boot fittings as much, and so I started selling skates. I had a lady who was a doctor who moved from Boston, and she could never skate, though she loved it, loved to feel it. But her feet were turned out like this. So I took the blade off and mounted it this way so it lined with her ankle bone, her knee, and her hip. And she came out off the ice and says, I can get on both my edges, both inside and outside. I've never been able to skate this good in my life.
One of our players, I believe he joined our group at the age of 68. He was really, really good. He played with us until the age of 75. After he passed away, his wife reached out to us. She knew how much this group meant to him. When she had his funeral, she wanted all of us to wear hockey jerseys. And it was just a moment that was just so special.
We had a player, his name was Brad Perkins. Brad had brain cancer. And he fought, he just didn't make it. Part of his ashes were put at center ice here. Highland Ice Arena was kind enough to let us chip away the ice and put a little vial in there so that he could be with us as we played. And that was his wish. And it was always a comfort to know that he was there. He was an advertising guy. And if you're familiar with Beacon Plumbing, he is the man who came up with Stop Freaking Call Beacon.
One of my first skate coaches, Kelly Stevens, was, I think she skated here when she was little, and she's an Olympian.
This rink has led to a lot of me skating in the show, you guys skating in the show. We made a lot of friends from around the world.
Yeah, totally.
So this really started a lot.
It formulated our lives.
Yeah.
It really did.
It's great to have AAA teams going to nationals to play off for a hockey championship. But that's just the few. And you have to play to the many. And that's what was important about Highland, was playing to the many.
The most amazing moment that I had, which I never had as a young athlete. Our team made it to the semifinals. We were down 4-0 in the middle of the second period, and we clawed back to 4-3. And there was 6 minutes left, and there was a crowd. We actually had a crowd. I skated down the ice, and my partner, Michael Johnson, passed the puck to me in the slot, and I zinged a shot past the goalie, and the crowd went wild. And that was the first time ever in my whole life of playing sports, any sport, that I made a play and the crowd went wild, and then we went on to win, and we went on to win the cup after that. And that was the most amazing moment that I've had here.
Highland was affordable, relatively speaking, and kept it that way, and made opportunities for us to have these groups who played year after year and had these connections. It's getting increasingly hard to afford to do that. But also, this was like our home.
There's such a large financial gap as far as what we can afford as a group. And if we were to try to continue this group somewhere else, like a new rinks and so forth, you are literally looking at, without exaggeration, 3 times what we pay per hour. Like it's a triple, sometimes 4.
We worked around more to making it affordable for people than gouging them. We're more cost effective than all the other rinks. Even though we have the same expenses, the same power, the same gas.
We're losing all of the places in our city that have personality, that have history, And we're kind of getting this very homogenized, very clean, generic sort of set of places. So in the big picture, I'm just really sad that Seattle is losing a lot of its special places.
You know, family-run businesses it's harder and harder for them to survive, to come by. You have larger corporations, and Seattle is such the home of the behemoth of corporate America.
This is a mom and pop rink.
Yeah.
You'll never get the atmosphere anywhere else.
Yeah.
And the corporate rinks, I know that
Yeah, it's true.
they just,
You just don't feel the same.
yeah,
not
it
the
isn't,
same feeling
it's
at
too
all.
And it's
regimented.
expensive.
It's too regimented.
$15.
We knew that the cost of operating and trying to develop a brand new program after a rink opens, 5 miles from you, is very difficult. Any rink that's owned by a family or a single owner, an independent, right? They're gonna put their heart and soul and time into it, where other arenas, whether they're corporate, municipalities, if they're private clubs, they're run by boards, right? And boards want to see cash flow. They just don't have the heart and soul in it.
I guess a parting thought is that, it has been a huge part of so many people's lives, and obviously that sticks with everyone forever. So happy to have been a part of that.
It really has left me personally just with an emptiness. There's this kind of void. I'm just so glad that a place like this existed for 60 years. I'm glad that I'm able to be like a small part of that experience and being connected to it.
The last day of business was last Saturday, and I came for one last skate and just kind of skated around and took stock of memories I've experienced and specific kind of like places on the ice.
I'll definitely miss this place. Even this morning, I was walking around each corner. I just get tons of memories come back. And it's every nook and cranny in this place. I'm gonna miss it. I mean, this has basically been my second home.
Once I'm gone and I'm out of here, the building has disappeared, and that's gonna be the hard part. How much effort my parents put into it. The time we spent here every day, to see my parents' dream go away, it'll be tough.